What's up, guys? Michael and Narina Leyde here. We are here with our good friends Jeshu and Teresa Ram.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, we're going to spend some time tonight cooking and spend a little bit of time getting to know our pastors. So tell us what we got going on here, Jeshu.
Well, welcome to the Ram's Kitchen, and we got some curry happening. We're going to have I'm cooking two kinds of curry. One is the spicier one, which I just kind of create as I go. And this one is just a basic curry that I learned my first curry ever. So we're going to be tasting two curries. One is just the first Jeshu Ram curry, and this one is just a creation as you go, the spontaneous one.
Okay, very good, very good. Now you say the first curry you learned. Where did you learn your first curry?
With my dad. My dad taught me how to make it because when I moved to the United States, I was craving some real South Indian curry. When it comes to curry, you got to remember, there's flavors of North Indian curry and South Indian curry.
Different, isn't it?
Very different. So South Indian is much better.
Oh,
no bias whatsoever.
I don't know about that. Okay.
Because we have North Indians flying down to South India to taste the curry.
Taste the curry.
That's how it works.
It's all in the process and how it's made. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us. So how do we start? So we've got some onion here.
We got some onion going on. Once the onions are translucent, you know, we're going to add some spices. We're going to start with the ginger garlic paste. So you're going to smell a lot of different flavors and spices. Just the smell of the onion is just really good as well. So incredible. So so I'm really excited. And this is your first time tasting my curry.
I know.
Right? Yeah,
We're in for a treat.
So
for sure.
So you grew up in South India.
I grew up in South India, a city called Bangalore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was born and raised there. Yeah.
Very nice. And when did you move to the States?
I moved to the States in '96. That's when we got married. August of '96.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you guys met, in India or here in the States?
No,
We met in India. Yeah, she came on a mission trip, so I was an interpreter.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She was 18, I was 19.
There you
We
go.
were babies.
We were babies, but we just started becoming good friends, and God just brought us together, you know.
So were you married in India or here?
We got married in England because we were part of
Okay.
Youth of the Mission, and she was on staff there. Then I went to do my leadership training with YWAM, and that's when our relationship started.
Wow.
You know, from friendship it went to more like dating and courting.
Yeah. Nice.
We were both on two different bases, so we always every weekend I would travel and go see her, and she would come to our base, and
That's great. That's great. So you guys got married, ended up landing here in the States.
Yeah.
Did YWAM for a while.
We did YWAM for a while. We were in YWAM for 16 years.
Now, if people don't know what YWAM is, would you briefly explain that to us?
YWAM is called Youth of the Mission. It's a missionary organization. They train young people in all ages, and there's amazing training schools. They have a Unit of the Nation in Kona, Hawaii is the headquarters. So I think they're the largest.
Not a bad place.
Not a bad place. I think they're one of the largest missionary organizations right now that are equipping and training people in the world and sending out people to preach the gospel and evangelize the globe. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It was an honor and privilege to be part of that foundation in our life and bring our kids into that foundation as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a community that you live and you learn and grow, you get equipped, and then you equip others and train others and take them to the nations. So we've traveled to over more than 20 nations.
Wow.
Way more than that. I have to use all my fingers and toes. I have no idea.
Yeah.
What was like your top 3 or 4 trips that you've been on?
My top 2, obviously India is one of my trips because I'm Indian and I love the ministry there. I enjoyed China. China was amazing.
Where did you go in China?
We were in the Yunnan province. Went to Kunming and Kunming.
I have no idea where that is, so you just somewhere on the map.
Western.
Oh, okay.
No, Eastern China.
Now we're doing something. What is this?
This was ginger garlic paste.
Okay, did you make that?
Yeah, we made it fresh and made it into a paste, and you can buy them separately, but we make it fresh. So
Hello.
it's really
Fresh
good.
is always better.
Fresh is always better. So
So how did you make that?
Half ginger, half garlic.
And just chop
Just
it
raw.
up or put it inside the
Put it in
little
the thingy.
ninja?
yeah,
Yeah.
put in the Ninja,
Yeah.
and you'll start smelling it here, and yeah.
Yeah, I think they came with a little bit of a sinus pressure, but it's all gone now.
We're good now.
You're steaming some goodness right here. Yeah.
Wow.
So you went to China. That was the top trip. Where else would you say is like some of your favorite? What were some of your favorite trips?
Fiji. I really enjoyed Fiji.
Really, I've heard
as well.
that.
Yeah, Fiji
Yeah.
is beautiful, and half the Fijian population are Indians.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, they came as slaves, the island through Australia and New Zealand when the British were ruling. So
Yeah.
they'll come, and now 50% of the Fijian population are Indians.
Wow.
So you come into Nandi, the airport, and you can just walk, and it's like little India. You
It's
know,
little India. Wow.
I was just blown away. All the smells, all the music, all
All
the
those things.
you can smell the curry, and then right in the middle of the street, there's this huge Hindu temple
Oh.
that they have. So I was right away.
Right at home.
Right at home. I was
Wow.
That's crazy.
like, here's
Yeah.
another little India.
Yeah, that's great.
that's there. So
I have to ask you, with all these amazing places that you've been, what brought you here to Arlington, Washington?
well, after YWAM, we were in Sacramento helping Pioneer Church and Pastor Church, and our time there came to an end, and we were seeking the Lord. God, what's next for us? And our good friends John and Jana Knott, that you guys know.
Good friends.
We've been friends for 20 plus years. Kids grew up together, and John and I always knew that we were going to do something together. And when he was here visiting his parents, Pastor Keith,
Yeah.
our pastor at Jake's house, felt like John Knott was the next director for our ministry school.
Okay.
So John was like, man, I would love to do this with Jeshu, because we've been wanting to do this together. So he approached me and asked me to pray about it. We prayed, and there was confirmations of things of God saying, yes, this is the place. And we came over here, and interacting with Keith, when I called him, and I just felt that he knew my dad, because when my dad came here to visit,
Wow.
during the revival time with Ben Perez and Marysville First,
Yeah.
when you were
Yeah, when I was
getting whacked and rocked by the Holy Ghost.
Whole other story.
my dad was there, and him and Keith hit it off really well. So I remember that story about Pastor Keith and Pastor Ken.
Yeah.
When my father was visiting, and I picked up the phone, is like, hey, do you know Atmaram? He's like, Keith's like, yes, I do know him. How's that rascal doing? I'm like, well, I'm his son. This is Jeshu, John's friend. He's like, whoa.
So there was
And he
instant
started
connection.
sharing instant connection. He started sharing his story about how they got together and the covenant that they had. It was just a God thing, because the relationship happened way long ago, and God was just bringing everything together. And when I came here, God was just confirming things. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and we just said, this is what God has.
Yep.
And we just packed up our Penske
Packed up
truck.
our-
Yeah.
And we
Jana,
just,
Jana picked out the house.
Oh,
We had
really?
never
Yeah.
seen it.
We've never seen it?
We
Really?
signed the lease on the house.
Oh, wow.
didn't even know where you were going to be.
And then went to go see it.
Yeah.
So totally sight unseen. It was the only house that would let us bring all of our animals.
Wow.
And that was the total miracle.
Yep.
So that was one of the requirements of the kids, that we bring all the animals.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So that's what we did.
All right, the next
so
step,
now what do we
right now
got?
on this one, because the process on these two is very different.
Sure.
Because how you process determines on the flavor as well, the spices that you use and stuff.
Okay.
So when it comes to curry is just not the powder that you put in there. Curry is a mixture of spices
Right.
that makes the flavor. So depending on the spices that you use, you make different
You're
kinds
gonna
of
get
curry, like a butter chicken or chicken masala.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you're talking.
And Thai curry and Indian curry are totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different,
Agreed.
yeah.
So I just have a quick question. So this one is obviously a lot more caramelized than this one. Does that matter?
No, it doesn't. But
Okay.
you got to watch out. You don't want it too caramelized.
Okay.
You know.
Just curious. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need.
I'm kind of having an interview and cooking as well.
Yeah.
so-
No, I just wondered if there was a difference.
No.
So what is
You
all
don't-
this you're going to put in?
I got cloves, cinnamon, turmeric, and chili powder. So if you want it spicy, then you can add more chili powder. And it's not paprika or, you know,
It's not the Mexican chili powder.
It's not the
It has
Mexican
to be
chili
the Indian chili powder.
Oh, just
Otherwise you'll
regular
get the-
chili powder.
Or cayenne.
Or
We use
cayenne, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
So-
but you don't use Mexican.
Not
we go.
paprika. Okay.
No.
Wow, that's a beautiful
Paprika.
color there.
Yeah.
That's the thing I love about Indian food. It's like the colors are always so vibrant. It's just beautiful.
Honey, what goes in here next?
What goes in there next?
Can you smell that?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yum. I'll just like,
Yeah, exactly. Spoon it out.
So once this is, and you don't want to burn the spice because it's easy to get the spice to
Okay.
burn. Then
Hmm.
you'll get the bitter taste. So you got to
Make sure
smell.
it's-
It's all about the smell. You know, once you know that smell, the more you cook, you'll know the smell,
Like
and
when
then
it's
you
done.
just know when to
describe
put what.
that to us. What is that?
Because there's once you start it, it's a fresh smell, and then you can smell the mixture of all the flavors.
Sure.
You
can
know,
smell
there's
that
a
now,
yeah.
yeah,
Now, yeah.
you
Yeah,
can smell that now.
yeah.
Exactly. Because at first it was really fresh.
Right.
Now it's cooking. There you go.
Wow.
Yep.
That's so good.
Yep. And then we got some cilantro. This one.
Oh yeah.
Or coriander. Yeah. Cilantro is a Spanish name, and the English name is coriander.
Oh,
Leaf.
I didn't even know that.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Because sometimes
when
I
I
have
came-
cooked before with coriander, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, where do you get
so
that?
you get
It's-
coriander powder,
Okay.
seed, and leaf.
Okay.
So when I first came to the States, people were like cilantro. I'm like, no, it's coriander. They're like, what's
Yeah.
coriander?
Yeah.
It's
That's
an English
so
name
interesting.
for cilantro.
How funny.
Yeah. So the secret for the South Indian dish is the frying of the spices. Yeah. So this right here is your curry paste. Yeah.
I'll take it.
That's good. This is going really well.
What do you want
So-
in here now?
We want to put the chicken.
Okay, chicken first.
Put the chicken first. Because we already put the ginger garlic.
Wow.
So now you were here working with the school of ministry for a season, and then this Impact Asia. Now tell us about Impact Asia. This is your overseas ministry.
Yeah, it's our it's a ministry that my dad started,
Okay.
and when my dad passed away, God kind of put in my heart to honor my father's vision, you know, ministry. So just legacy,
Yeah.
legacy. So we started that 5 years ago with Impact Asia. So we have a team in India. We take teams every year. Whoa. And in 5 years, now we have 20 churches. We have a team, we have a director who oversees those 20 churches and a team. So we're really excited. Our heart is to empower people to transform nations. That's our motto. And we want to see India saved, equipped, and transformed. You know, and out of India, we want to reach Asia as well. All the 23 nations in Asia. There's 50 nations, 49, close to 50. Yeah, close to 50 nations in Asia. But we just want to focus on the southeastern part of Asia. That's what God has put in our heart. So when we go to Asia, this We do a youth explosion. We have a lot of young people come together from different churches, all the different youth groups. And our first one that we did, there was like, 270 young people from 17 churches.
Wow.
And my spiritual father, Ken Winton, who's on our Impact Asia board, he prophesied and said, next year we're going to see 1,000 young people.
Wow.
And my pastor, who oversees the youth explosion, he got excited. So 6 months later, we were there, we were going again, and he booked a venue for 1,000 young people.
Wow.
You know, so that was the first thing. We just jumped on there and we just prayed and we just believed, okay, God, you spoke the word, we're going to stand on that word.
Wow.
And we'll see what God does. So we had 1,200 young people showed up
Wow.
from about 89 churches.
Yep.
Young people all came together, and that's the first time that's ever happened
In Bangalore? Did you go to Bangalore?
in Tamil Nadu, the state of Tamil Nadu.
Wow.
That's the first time that's ever happened like that. So we pioneer that. So
Very cool.
now we want to do a youth camp. Just it's just not enough just to gather at one
Sure,
time.
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Just boost of revival and
Yeah.
encountering Jesus, but we want to take it further. Want to have a 3-day camp for these young people and really disciple them.
Yeah.
And so just walk with them and then have a ministry school. So we pick people from those
From the camp.
from the camps,
Right, right.
and pull them into ministry school. The ones that are called for ministry,
Sure,
church
sure.
planting, and stuff. So really excited about that. And we also do Kingdom Family Seminars where we get about 50 pastors and their wives in a room, and we spend 3 days to 2 days and really talk about their heart and their soul.
Wow.
Because in India they don't really talk about what's happening on the inside.
It's a little different.
It's very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
Very different.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's because of like the English colonization, how British are so proper and like more reserved
Yes.
in how they conduct themselves?
Yeah, and also in the Indian culture, also mainly the Asian culture as well, they don't connect with their emotions because they're so performance-oriented culture.
Right.
You know, the more you do, the better you feel. It's
Right.
all the works things.
Yeah.
Work harder, study harder, education. You have a better life. But nobody talks about how they're doing inside, connecting them
sure.
emotionally.
Yeah.
How you're feeling. Are you feel
Right.
loved.
Right.
You know, so
Do you feel valued?
Yeah,
Yeah.
valued. So I'm accepted because of my accomplishments. You know,
Yeah.
not just because of who I am.
Sure.
So we get these pastors and their wives, and we just
You guys
get in there,
Go after it.
get in there, and go after.
First, we make them sit together. That blows their mind.
That's a big deal. Isn't it?
Yes,
That
it is.
blows their
That's a big
mind.
deal. Yeah.
And then we go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually really interested to hear from Teresa as far as just like from one pastor's wife to another. Like, what is your part to play? What is your passion in all of this?
I'm mostly at home with the kids.
Yeah.
That's really been my primary role, and very much a support role for him in the school and in ministry. And he's of course a fantastic partner with the kids and just fathering them and always championing us. But mostly I've been at home with the kids.
Yeah.
So I just kind of cheer him on because homeschooling 3 kids for so long is that's.
So you guys do homeschool?
We did. We don't anymore.
Okay.
But we did all the way
Yeah.
through Manisha, all the way through middle school, Josiah all the way through middle school, and Jared.
Oh yeah, that's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so where is your oldest now? Is she up at school?
Manisha graduates summa cum laude
Wow.
in 2.5 weeks from George Fox University.
Oh my gosh.
She's already been accepted into graduate school.
Oh my gosh.
What's her major?
Psychology.
Wow.
She
Okay.
will be a doctor of psychology by 25.
Wow.
Blows my mind.
Oh my
I don't know where she gets it because I don't know.
But you know what she said? This is what she said. She's like, we asked her, like, why psychology? Just like, Dad, growing up, we've had people come and she's seen us walk with people and
Yeah.
discipling them and
Yeah.
seeing them, empowering them and dealing with their issues that they're
Sure.
facing
Yeah.
and stuff, wherever they may be. And she's like, that always was attraction to her. You know,
Yeah.
you know, just she was drawn to that.
Leading
And
by
the only thing
example.
she said, you know, I'm gonna get paid for it.
Yeah. How you doing this for free?
I'm gonna get paid for it. So I'm like, good girl, you
Smart
go for it.
girl, yeah. I love it.
Exactly.
Smart girl.
Smart girl. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and I had dreams of, you know, Manisha traveling with us and
Yeah,
ministering with us and stuff. So we see that for the future.
yeah. Wow.
With the nations, and she loves to do that too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But she really wants to.
Do you guys think you'll? Oh, go ahead.
help young people,
Yeah.
not only
Yeah.
families but also young people.
Yeah, she wants to work with like troubled kids and teens and
Sure.
and really have an input in that sphere. So it's desperate needed.
And then your two boys are still here.
Yep. Josiah graduates this year from high school, and Jared has one more year after this. So, yep, we're just trying to get through.
So are you guys interested together to be traveling more and doing more missions? Oh, is that what you're
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're gonna be free here.
I
in
know,
just a
I was
minute.
thinking, now you don't have
Yeah.
the kids, so
Yeah.
you want to get back out there into the nations? And,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
We
Is there a
already
place
are.
on your heart that you just feel like
No, I'll go pretty much anywhere.
anywhere?
Yeah. No,
Anywhere.
there's not. There's nowhere I would definitely cross off the list.
Yeah.
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 Is there any place in particular if you were just like, hey God, call me there? You would say it'd be an
Well-
easier yes in your heart than any other place.
I'll let you answer that one.
Well, if we told the boys we were moving to England tomorrow, they'd be packed in 20 minutes.
Okay, why?
Wow.
We went there to visit because we have history. We have roots there.
Sure.
You know, I was
Married
there
there,
for
yeah.
almost 3 years
Yeah.
with YWAM. He was there for almost 2.5. So we have roots. We have people there.
Sure.
So we love England. The kids actually were fairly angry at us after we visited for a week and showed them all the stuff,
Oh,
and they
they're
met
like,
their
"Oh."
they met our friends that had kids their age, and they were so angry. They were like, we could have had an accent like that. What did you do?
I am
They
jealous
were
of those
so
accents. They
upset.
sound
Pretty
so
cool.
intelligent.
Yes.
Pretty
We
cool.
were so upset. So we love England. We definitely love England. But I very much want to go to New Zealand.
Really?
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. That's
Yeah.
We
what
literally,
spoke
we
to me
just
about New
finished.
Zealand.
We just finished all 3 movies.
Yeah.
Jared and I, yesterday and today.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
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 that's
for
a
sure.
spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely beautiful. Wow.
Yeah. We definitely want to go there. But
Now, real quick. So this one's looked spicier than this one, but you said this one's going to be the spicier. What's the
Give it a
story
bit.
here?
It's because we've added some of the spices in there.
Okay.
Okay.
You know,
So they're already cooking in.
they're already cooking in, so it changes the color.
My
But
gosh,
this
does
one
that
right
look
here is
incredible.
just onions and ginger, garlic, and chicken that's there.
Right.
We don't
So
have
we
any
want
spice in
we
there
want the
yet.
chicken to turn. We want it to half cook the
Okay.
chicken and stuff, and then once we put this in, this will turn into.
Now, what is this over
Greener
here?
color.
This green madness.
This is I got just inspired to do something.
Yeah,
you know,
good.
because when you kind of cook curry a lot and you
Yeah,
get bored
you-
with the same
you get
recipe,
bored.
I'm like, want to
try
mix
it.
it. So I got cilantro,
green
Was there
chili.
mint?
green chilies.
Oh,
It's
okay.
all mixed.
A
Green-
tiny
I-
bit of mint.
Okay.
tiny bit
Yeah,
of
a little
mint,
bit.
and I fried some cumin in there, some chili powder.
Did you put
When you
onions
say
in there?
fried
And onions.
cumin, because I only know about cumin in like a spice. So what
Yeah.
did you do to fry it?
I just put them
It-
with
you
the
can
onions.
Get them in seeds.
Oh,
You
no,
can get them
You
in
did
seed
with
powder.
fennel. It's-
Cumin. I did cumin.
Oh, you did powder.
Is it the
Yeah,
powder?
yeah, I
But
do
you
powder.
first fry it, and
just
it
fry
brings
it.
a different kind of texture. Or
Yeah, every
a
time you
different flavor?
fry the spice,
Okay.
you know, it brings out a different flavor.
Okay.
I
Good to
kind
know.
of had this whole message on curry, you know,
Oh.
the oil of the Holy Spirit, the
And
fire
they
of
little
God.
heat- you need a little
and
heat
us
there.
being the spice, you know, different
Okay,
spices of the
different
body
flavor.
of Christ,
Okay,
different
okay.
flavors. So we put it together, the true flavor comes out, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's this whole message that's there. Sometime, you know,
Another-
Illustrated
I'll preach it.
sermon.
Another-
Yeah, Indian illustrated
No, we're
sermon.
working
I
the
love it.
illustrated
Yeah,
sermon
yeah,
right
yeah,
here,
yeah.
right here.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Perfect.
Well, speaking of that, like I wanted to ask, like, what did you, you know, being in the pastoral role in leadership now for a long time and traveling the nations. What do you think? What is one area that you feel like you've seen the body of Christ grow up into that's really inspiring, or that you're finding joy in right now?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I think the word for me is vulnerability.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's a real boldness for vulnerability.
Yeah.
And the more vulnerable you are as a pastor, as a leader, or as a family,
Yeah.
I think it gives permission for us to get healthier,
Yeah.
because you're not hiding anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not hiding anymore because when it's so many times we want to hide things, but I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
The fathers and mothers are just getting really real.
Honest.
It's like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm
Right.
struggling.
Yeah.
I think it just releases
So
some
good.
sense of, oh, I can identify with that.
Well, that's
You know?
what I was about
Yeah.
to say. Is I think too in the past the pastoral role, like you had to have your act together.
Oh, yeah.
You had to show up like you had everything figured out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was
You
a lot
know?
of performance.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
all
You know?
performance.
It was all
Absolutely.
performance.
Yeah.
So now there's that freedom. People are finding that it's actually healthier if there's a freedom in that openness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it just really helps people to connect.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, with the pastor, with fathers and mothers
Yeah.
in the region, and
And I think
So-
it's also not out of a place of like manipulation. So you're not
Yes.
just being vulnerable so that people go, oh, okay, I want to connect with you.
Yeah.
But it really is like out of a place of sincerity.
Yeah.
And people see that and they value that and they can identify it and identify with it, and that means the world to I think a lot of people.
And it's in another picture of, you know, he's the potter, we're the clay.
Yeah.
You know, the more we are yielded to the potter's hand, the more he
Yeah.
can mold us and shape us.
True.
And,
Yeah.
and the tenderness of the
Yeah.
clay is the vulnerability that we're giving permission for
Yeah.
God to say, okay, God, here I am. With all my mess, with all my mistakes, you can still, you know, turn my mess and turn it into a miracle and use it for your glory.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So good.
Totally.
So good.
So I have to ask you, how much, like, if you were just to make this, and I'm guessing we're putting it on some sort of rice, like, how many people does this feed?
Well, first of all, you have to ask how many Indians or how many white
Okay.
people.
Okay.
Those are
Because I'm looking
very
at that,
different
like,
points of view.
wow,
Yeah,
this
for
is
white
feeding
people,
a lot of
you
people.
can add more color to just white.
Non-Indians.
It's
I think
okay.
you have to say
This is
non-Indians.
Okay.
Already tastes the flavor of it.
Non-Indian people. Because that's very different.
Okay, okay.
Very different.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So it depends on the appetite.
Sure.
You know, you start small and then you taste it and you
keep
go,
going.
But
"Ooh,
if you
this
were
is
to
good."
cook for, like, your family, would you ever cook this much?
Yes.
Just for
Yeah.
your, oh, okay, you will eat it. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, our boys,
This will
they love it.
probably, if this was just for us, we could eat this in 3 days.
done. Wow.
Easily.
All right.
Teens, don't
So,
ever
next
underestimate the eating power of teenage boys
There you go.
when it's something that they absolutely
Love. Yeah.
All right. Then we add the tomatoes in there. Do not add water. Usually I puree the tomatoes, so tomato becomes the sauce. Yeah. If you don't add the tomatoes, it just becomes that dry curry, which is great. You could still have it that way with tortillas or, yeah. The tomato will make it juicy and saucy. Yeah. So do not add. You can also add coconut milk, you know, to add more of that coconut flavor to curry. So it changes up a little bit, but it's still good. Still
Have
good.
you added any coconut to this
Nope.
so far? Okay.
No.
So coconut is not an essential ingredient to having curry.
Yeah, it depends on your flavor and what you like.
Okay.
What you prefer. Yep. So yeah.
Wow, that looks
Honey,
beautiful.
are you ready for the green stuff in here?
Yes, I am ready for the green stuff in there.
So there's no draining that goes with that. It's just a part of the base. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Especially when the chicken is frozen.
Okay.
And you cut it up, it'll have some of that water in there.
Yeah.
So
And so remind us what was in this little mixture that you made here. Cilantro.
mint, cilantro, green peppers, fresh green peppers, serrano peppers, cumin powder, and onions all fried.
So that's where the
and
spice
turmeric
is.
and chili pepper. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is
That's the spice.
That's the stuff.
It's green because you think like, for me, in my eyes, I think like red spice,
looks hotter,
green,
yeah.
not spice, but this
That's
is actually the spice.
this is actually the
Okay.
spice here. So here we go. Let me just take a little bit.
No.
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
and just
you
taste
do
we
it
gotta
for
do
me.
it. We gotta do it.
All right.
Yo. Whoa.
And there's a little bit
Wait,
of
hold
vinegar.
on.
You taste the vinegar, a little bit of that.
Oh, I'm awake. Yeah.
There's
That's
water behind
fire.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's speaking to every Latino cell in my body.
Wow. Yeah, man.
Yeah. This is gonna be good. I'm
Wow,
already
look at
hungry.
this.
Good time.
Yeah, the flavors are going to be very different. So, obviously, because of different spice mixtures and stuff. But
So what's next for
Yeah.
you guys? Do you feel like in the next 5 years, where do you see yourself, or what's? Obviously, there's some travel in your future because the kids are gonna be up and at 'em out of
Yeah.
the house. So there's some travel.
yeah, and it's a journey
Yeah.
of discovery for us.
Yeah.
We love Jake's house. God has brought us here, and we love the team. We love the family that God has put us into community.
Yeah.
So we don't see ourselves going anywhere, you
Yeah.
know. But we'll be going to the nations, coming back, going to
Yeah.
the nations, coming back, because we believe in the vision of Jake's house.
Yeah.
And the DNA of Jake's house, you know, it's just wonderful people. We're so blessed to have such an amazing family that's loving,
Yeah.
that's caring, and willing to welcome anybody
Yeah.
and make it into a.
Absolutely.
We are a family.
Safe
you know,
place.
Jake's house is
Yeah.
a
It
safe.
really is.
That's a good word. It's a
It really
safe
is.
place, and the
Yeah.
leadership as well. And we do our best to create that. You
Yeah.
know, from top down, the top down. And I want to honor Pastor Keith, who's created that culture
Yeah.
for us because he lives it. You know,
Yeah.
he lives it, and he's brought that culture, and he's created that, and now we're just stewarding it and taking it to the next level
Yeah.
for generations to come. You know, we have a 20-year vision for Jake's house, so we're just that's our home. You know,
Yeah.
out of that, everything is going to flow. Out of that, we're going to go to the nations. Out of that, Impact Asia is happening.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful for Jake's house because I'm so thankful for the leadership of Jake's house who have said, go do what God has called you to do. We're behind you.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't put any
Super
restrictions
empowering.
and
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
empowering. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you cannot do this because you need to be doing this, this, and this and stuff.
Right.
It's like none of that came. None of them came. It was just like, go do what God has called you to do. We're behind you. We
Yeah.
love you, believe in you because you know you're part of this family,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That's
don't find
huge.
that often.
And I go share that with other pastors and leader friends of mine, and they're like, what?
Exactly.
That's unheard of.
That's not every
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
it's
very
it's what you create, right?
Yeah.
It's what you create, and we're called to create things, and we're called to create the kingdom of God, and that's the kingdom.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the kingdom.
Yeah.
Is like, hey, do what you're created to do,
Yeah.
you know, but do not be alone. It's do not isolate, but stay connected to the
Yeah.
body of Christ. So we're so grateful for
Wow.
that connection
Love
and
that.
the community that we have. Yeah.
What is it? What do you think? Kind of along the line of the first question I asked you. What, you know, where do you see the body of Christ, whether it be locally or regionally or even abroad? Like, what are some things that you feel like we need to grow up into? Like, there's some places that we've achieved some real maturity and we're stepping into authenticity and some of those
Yeah.
things you talked about. But what do you see are some things that you think, like, just as a dad, like, you know, because as a dad, I'm
Yeah.
like, I see my sons, I know where they're headed, but obviously there's some things they need to grow up into.
Yeah.
You know, just not in a negative sense, not in like, you know, church bashing, none of that, but just like as a dad, what are you seeing?
I think we need to. There's still walls that need to come down. You know, there's still walls that need to come
What are
down
those
to.
walls?
Yeah, it could be fear or comparison or denominational walls that are there.
Yeah.
You know, differences or styles or methods and things like that. You know, the walls are coming down, so that we can be the one body that God created us to be. You know, we all play a role as a body. You know, Jake's house could be the hand, and we have, you know,
SRC,
Life 360
Life
could be the
360,
arm, and
Pursue.
SRC could be, all these
All
things.
of it,
We
yeah.
all have a function. The main goal is for the gospel of Jesus Christ, people encountering Jesus, but we all have different flavors, and for us to be content with that different flavor. You know, and adding, just like the curry, right? Hey, I have this spice, you know?
Right.
Why don't we just mix it up
Why don't we
and
just
let's see
mix it?
what God does?
I'm in for
You know,
that.
exactly. So that's what I think that's happening. And also, I think there's God is just, you know, less is more, simplifying things.
Yeah.
I really feel like with this whole quarantine and
Yeah.
stay home and COVID-19, all this virus that's going on, I think there's just a little alignment coming to let's major on the major on things, which is, you know, the gospel
Yeah.
Right.
and making disciples.
Yeah.
And making disciples is just not ministry school. It could be, you know, training worship leaders and small groups and Bible studies and all that stuff. So many times we think discipleship is just, or ministry school, you need to go, but it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It can have different flavors and stuff. So I think those are things that are happening as well.
Yeah.
And collaborating as well.
Sure.
Collaborating is like, hey, this is going well for us. What's going well for you? What can we
Right.
learn from each other?
Right.
And coming together is like, let's give it a shot. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I love about this region here.
Yeah.
That drew
It's
us.
so unique.
It's so unique. It
Yeah.
was like
It's
we're
very true.
open to say, hey,
Yes.
this is what's going on. Let's learn from that. Can you help us?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Like today with Darren Stott.
Yeah.
You know, just talk about media. They're doing such a great job
Right.
with media. And
How can we learn?
they're
How can we help
gifted
each other?
and stuff. They have a different flavor. So we're like pulling on them, and they're
Yeah.
pulling on us. And
Yeah.
so
That's beautiful.
the more we do that, I think the world is going to see a family of God that's going to be attracted to them.
Yeah.
It's like I want to be part of that family.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what people are looking for nowadays. It's like they're looking for a family to be part of and be safe and live and dream.
Yeah.
You know, you dream in the context of family and love.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And belong.
and belong. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's
So
beautiful.
it's just not being, but belonging.
Yeah.
It's
It's beautiful.
I'm excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So now, how does this work? Just simmer for a little bit, and then we're good to go.
Yeah,
or what's the-
simmer for a little bit, and once the meat
Salt.
is cooked, I think we taste the
You
salt.
put the salt in
I
this
did.
one.
I
saw
already
that.
tasted when I
Did we
was.
put salt
How
in this
cute,
one?
by the way,
I'm
are
gonna-
these little,
Yeah,
look at
it's
these.
pepper.
Yeah. I have just like the shakers, you know, plastic Walmart
Yeah.
shakers, but I'm wanting to invest in these
Yeah,
wooden
so
bowls
there you
because I
go.
feel like I'll feel more like a chef
Well,
if I can
absolutely.
just.
Some
Look
salt
at
there.
you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you gotta do it.
Do not ask me the measurement of what. I just go
Yeah.
with the flow.
No.
I started with the measurement, and
You
then.
look like a professional.
I've been doing this a little bit.
Wow. So good.
So you keep adding salt as you go, according to
I
your
don't think
flavor.
we added any salt in here.
Yeah. I don't think there was salt.
Yeah.
Now, Jeshu, ever since I've known you, you've been like extremely upbeat. Teresa, is he always upbeat? Like, is this a normal thing for him? Because every time we talk, he's just like really upbeat, very positive.
Am I allowed to answer that?
Oh, be
We're asking the tough questions here.
It's like,
Hey,
talk
we're-
about vulnerability, right?
We're here in
Yeah.
the kitchen. This is where it happens.
I have my moment.
This is where it happens. Hey.
Yeah, because I'm an extrovert.
Okay.
You know,
Gotcha.
so when I'm with people,
Sure, you
people
light
just
up. It's
life
just-
and
yeah, yeah.
things come up, and so this whole thing about stay home
Oh,
No.
you heard
thing
me.
is stretching.
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, but God is going deep in me.
I'm with you. On
Yeah.
that. I'm with you on that. I'm like, give me some people.
Yeah, give me some
I don't
people.
want to go to the mall or something. I
Yeah,
just need
so
to
it was
be
great to
around
go
other
do
people.
some recording today. Watching some of them, like
Yes, where there's people.
I'm filling up.
That's funny.
Answer.
Yeah, the real answer.
Jeshu is so passionate about life.
Gotcha.
So when and passionate people kind of, or at least in my experience with him, it's either all good or,
One
life,
extreme
or the
life
other.
sucks,
Yeah.
right? It's one extreme or
No
the
middle.
other.
Right.
Very little middle ground. So,
No lukewarm, hot or cold.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So that, I mean, just like anybody struggles, you know,
Yeah.
it's no different than anybody else. So either like everything's great or nothing
Yeah.
is, and that's really hard.
Yeah.
But
It's a roller coaster. Isn't
yes,
it?
it can be. But he's grown so much, and just in recognizing lies. In recognizing that your feelings aren't necessarily the truth,
Right.
Sure.
because very
So
rarely
true.
are they, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when you have to. Our spiritual father Ken Winton has pounded this into us. It's who you are.
Yeah.
It's who you are. You're always a child of God. You're always a son and a daughter.
Wow.
It doesn't matter anything else. It doesn't matter if you're having a great day or you're having the worst day on the planet. You are established as a child of God, and therefore, because you have that position, it will be okay,
Wow.
no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think that's really our life message.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
it's not about performance. It's not about pleasing anybody.
Wow.
Like I don't really care. So
Wow.
it's about just who you are, and you don't have to be right. It's okay to mess up. God is a redeemer. He's bigger.
Yeah.
He's bigger.
So
He's
good.
bigger than all
So
of our
good.
junk. He's
Yeah.
bigger than all of our mistakes.
Yeah.
He's bigger than all of our screw ups.
Yeah.
Even with this amazing calling that we have on our life
Yes.
with Impact Asia, he called us to that's so much bigger than us, and he already knew all of our weaknesses and all of our failings and all the times that we were going to fall flat on our faces, but he still entrusted that to us.
So good.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, but just walking it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what that means, you know, just what does that mean today? What does that mean in that situation? What does that mean when I don't feel like that's true?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You know, and it's about what you know is true,
Right.
not about what you feel
Yeah.
in whatever circumstance you find yourself in.
Yeah.
So good.
So
Yeah, so I'm grateful for Teresa. She speaks the truth, you know. She's so patient with me.
Yeah.
Is she
She's
like
got-
the
she's
kind
a-
of the
Oh,
even?
yes.
That's what I feel like Michael is.
I
for-
want her to go,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but she's like,
Crazy with
No,
me.
I'm just gonna say
I'm not
Yeah.
going to give into your
Craziness.
Yeah.
craziness. I'm going to be who I am. So
We
she
all
kinda-
need that. We all
all
need it.
We balance
as
each
much
other.
as it irritates him.
It
Yeah.
does. It does. I'm like,
You
come
need
on.
that.
Identify with what I'm feeling.
Get
here.
upset. Yeah.
No.
Give me some spice.
Even when Michael and I were first married, I remember a couple of like instances where I was like literally, I felt like I was just like poke, poke, poke.
Yeah.
Like I wanted him to respond. I wanted him to
explode.
be upset, and he would just nope, not get it. I'm like, finally, just the frustration. Like, okay, fine, we're just gonna have a peaceful marriage. For the rest of our lives. We're not gonna fight.
Yeah.
It was because I was an avoider. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know
That's
how
true.
to.
No, he
I
was
didn't know
feeling
how
it
to-
on the inside.
I didn't know how to
just
feel
didn't.
and deal, and that's one thing I had to learn too. You know, we've all got our issues.
Oh yeah.
Totally. And you know, it's so important that we function out of a position, right?
So good. Yeah.
We function from our position. Our
Yeah.
position is not that, you know, we teach this in our ministry school, in our church. We learned this through Jake's house, and we instill this value that, first of all, you know, you're a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
That's the amazing calling.
Yeah.
You start from out of that position, your function comes. Out of that
Yeah.
position is your ministry and your you know fivefold giftings, or
Right.
it's all flows out of that. And even in the midst of your dysfunction,
Yeah.
you know, finding your position so that you can overcome those things.
I feel
face
like
it.
even what you just shared, I feel like a lot of churches sell that message. Like they want it to be like that's their mantra,
Yeah.
and that's what they express. But I've never felt it to be more true than at
Yeah.
Jake's house,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it just is a part of the DNA there. And it's not even. I mean, just seeing Pastor Keith express himself, and you, and Pastor Terry, and even Harmon, and Teresa, and whatever. It's just, it really is what Jake's House is all about. And it's been such a, from being born and raised in church and seeing so many different expressions of ministry, and also like the cell
Expressions
like,
of leadership.
this is what this is what we are, like you're buying into this vision, but like you don't even have to sell anybody on it. You just have to go, you have to be there, you have to be a part, and it just envelops you, and it's so genuine, so it's such a beautiful place. I love it.
Totally. And that's why it's not, we have a destination.
Mm-hmm.
It's the journey how we get there that we're committed to. Destination's going to happen.
Right.
As long as we walk that
There's
journey.
no strife.
There's no like, oh, I'm gonna try to do. It's like, okay, let's walk this thing out. Help me out. Sometimes like I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna figure out as I go. Because there's things that we know, there's things that we kind of know, and the things that we like. We don't know what we're doing, and that's where the adventure happens. That's where. So those some conversations that we've been having with our dreams and desires and things like that for assignment with Impact Asia or Jake's House and this region, our children, looking at the whole thing and just going, okay, God, you got this. You got this. How you all gonna do it?
It's not our
Well, I like to know. So I can get excited. But at the same time, I know God has spoken to me. He's like, yes, son, if I let you know, you probably won't move. You probably
mess it up.
You will mess it up, or you'll get so overwhelmed because it's so big that you don't have the capacity to handle. So he just gives us like bits and pieces.
That's it, man.
Just keeps that appetite for the more. So that's been our kind of a journey, and we're still learning that. Very much. Especially with Impact Asia, working with people there, in for the long haul.
Yeah.
In for the long haul.
Love it.
So,